Georgia's Public Service Commission just approved a massive expansion of energy production, at least 6,000 new megawatts by the year 2031, mostly to meet projected demands from data centers. Some are questioning whether the projections are overblown and if ratepayers would be stuck with footing that bill. With us now is Patty Durand, the founder of Georgians for Affordable Energy. Patty, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. Let's get started with this. You think Georgia Power is exaggerating the expected energy demand from data centers, and why might you think that?
Georgia Power has a long history of exaggerating load growth forecasts, beginning with, well, I don't know when they began, but I know that during the lead up to Plant Vogtle units 3 and 4, they predicted an annual growth rate of 4%. That did not occur in the entire 15 years of the project. That's how far off they were. And the commission has never held them accountable for their false load growth. And as a result, Georgia's grid is bloated. There's a professional term called gold-plated, which means it's very overbuilt.
So you think their track record is not reliable at all when it comes to forecasting the needs, right?
It's not only not reliable, but even in this forecast, they were challenged by not only all the interveners, which are what third parties are called, but even by the Public Service Commission staff and also data center clients. Pretty much everyone that doesn't have a financial interest in how much energy is added to the grid challenged their estimates.
Your group advocates for affordable and clean energy. What alternative path would you have recommended instead of this 6,000 to 8,500 megawatt expansion?
There's a new paper that was released by Duke University's Energy, Environment, and Sustainability Institute in February that said, and actually it's the most exciting academic paper in energy circles that has been released in the last many years, that shows that actually no new energy growth is needed to meet all the data center needs in the country if data centers were just managed a little differently in how they interact with the grid, using different load curtailment, demand response, and other solutions to the grid that are available now. But of course, this commission did not care about that paper or acknowledge that paper. And in fact, they disregarded a lot of expert testimony during the 3 sets of hearings that led up to their decision.
Are there some other states or some other examples out there of how people are using it more efficiently that you can state?
I don't know that answer, but I would say probably not just yet because data centers are new to the game. In fact, ChatGPT was just introduced about 2 years ago. It's hard to imagine how quickly all of these data centers have arrived on the scene. I will say that in Georgia, we are particularly in a precarious situation because our commissioners have rubber stamped almost everything Georgia Power has ever asked for. And it's one of the reasons that Georgia Power bills are 5th highest in the nation. And I also examined data from FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, and learned that Georgia Power's profits per customer are higher than any utility of its size, which are 2 million customers and above. Georgia Power has 2.8 million customers. Georgia Power earns more profit than any other utility, and even the second place one, which was Florida Power and Light, was far behind Georgia Power in terms of profits, and that's because of this commission.
Yeah, Patty, what do you say to those folks who think that data centers are an economic boom?
They're not an economic boom. That's the issue. They bring hardly any jobs. The data centers don't require any engineering expertise once they're set up. And they do require a lot of energy if they're not managed properly, which they're not being in Georgia, and a huge amount of water, which we don't even know how much water because there have been no studies or any examinations of data center water needs in Georgia. And while we have plenty of water, that doesn't mean that we won't have droughts, and it doesn't mean that the huge amount of water that data centers are requiring isn't a risk to water tables and water areas around the state.
All right. Patty Durand, thanks so much for joining us and really appreciate your insight.